Hey everybody. So today we are going to talk about patience with the children. Fun. Um let's start by bringing Christ into this because it takes a lot of patience, y'all. A lot of patience, a lot of love, unconditional, a lot of forgiveness. Pretty much everything that Christ did for us, we have to do for our children when we don't feel like it, when we're not feeling good, when they get on our nerves, when they don't want to do their homework or clean their room. We have to stand strong in the Word of God. We have to teach them that even though it may sound stupid that they have to do homework because they're never going to use this stuff in the real world anyway, you know, God speaks in the Bible about respecting your authority, respecting the rulers, and respecting all that because it pleases Him to see that you can do it. So whew, my daughter gives me a lot of problems about everything, but she is a child of God. Go do your work. I'll be out in a minute. She is a child of God. She's a wonderful child. We're working on her. She's 7. These kids need love, though. They need discipline. They need structure. They need you to check their homework. They need to see that you care. Because if you don't care about their stuff, why should they, right? So it's easy to just kind of let them do whatever they want and run around crazy and stomp around and have fun. But as parents, we take on the job of teaching them the way they are supposed to live. That's why so many kids out here are running crazy with their pants sagging and, you know, liking the same sex and drugs and acting wild, taking advantage of girls. All this stuff is because of what they see at home. And if it's not something you're doing, it's something you may be watching on TV, anything. I mean, what are you allowing in your kid's life? I'm scrubbing today, y'all. I did not even bother getting cute today, so don't mind me. And I do know that there are a lot of parents out there who did everything they could for their children, and their children just chose to do something different, but at least they can say they did everything they could for their kids. Can you say you did everything you could for your kid? I used to not. I used to let her kind of do what she wanted, not really set a bedtime. When she was first starting to talk, not correct her if she talked back, so I thought it was cute. Whatever, it wasn't cute after a while. But we have to stand strong for these children until they understand how to do it for themselves. And if they have absolutely no guidance into how to do that, how do you think they are going to grow up? Well, mom and dad didn't care what I did, so why should I? That's what I would think. I was one of the kids that I was a bad kid no matter what my family did. I had a lot going on and I didn't listen, but I still had a good foundation to a degree. So when I started realizing that my way wasn't working, I had a foundation to kind of go back to on a moral basis for guidance, I guess. I would still remember things my parents told me. I would still remember how I grew up, even if I chose a different route, because they instilled that in me. I don't even want to know what kind of person I would have been if my parents didn't try, because I would have had no foundation to go back to when I finally wanted to live right. I would have known nothing. And pray with them every night. Sydney and I lay down every night and say at least 3 things we're thankful for to the Lord each. And we either do the Lord's Prayer, Psalm 23. Once she memorizes Psalm 23, we'll be working on another one. But we always show gratitude to God for getting through the day. And she has that to count on at the end of the day for a basis. And even on her worst day, she knows she can turn to God to get it done. You have to put God in your family. The family that prays together stays together. And that is a quote because it is true. Because there are a lot of problems in life that you can't handle without his help. Raising children is one of them. And I want my daughter to be able to grow up and have someone to turn to, even if I'm not there, which I hope I am for a long time. But even if I'm not, to have God to turn to. And I just get tired of seeing parents out there with $100-something hairdos and their kids barely have shoes on their feet, or not no seatbelt on them, or hey, run and bring mommy a beer. Like, they shouldn't even have their hands on that stuff till they're old enough to know what it is. I don't care if they're bringing it from the kitchen to the living room. People letting their kids just run outside unsupervised, like nothing bad ever happens in this world. Yeah, kids are strong. They can fend for themselves to a degree, but, it only takes one time. Going to people's houses, people with a couple different kids and no books to read. No, y'all, these are things that are going to impact their future. Not saying you can't do what you want to do, but at the same time, you really can't, because when you chose to have a child and keep that child, which I'm glad you kept the child, hope you are, when you chose to have that child and keep that child, then it became no longer about you. You have to put them first. And I didn't know that for a while. Like, when I was dancing and doing my thing, luckily I had people watching her and she wasn't exposed to that, but still, like, I just didn't put her first, because if I would have put her first, I wouldn't be in that life to begin with, So when I got out, I didn't really know how to handle being a mom. I mean, I love her to death, but I had some learning to do, and I am grateful that God gave me the opportunity to be her mother, like, these children are blessings. Don't sit around and just let their days pass by and not know how that special they are to you. And if they're not that special to you, then honestly, you should probably, like, let somebody take care of them that would love them. I would much rather see somebody give their child to a loving home than throw them away in a trash can, or all the crazy stuff you see on the news that people do to their kids. Like, there's a lot of people out there that don't have families that would love to take care of that child. We have to practice strong foundations and principles and everything else. And we have to be able to do it with them in our heart, with God in our heart. Shut the door. We have to be patient. 1 Corinthians 13 says, love is patient and kind. It's patient and kind. So be patient and kind and loving to your children. Just know that they are precious. They're the innocence that God put on this earth to show that there is God. That's why so many children talk about seeing babies and angels and all that. And, Sydney did when she was barely able to speak, like 2.5. She's like, Mommy, look, babies. And I'm like, what? I'm like, where? Up there. I said, on the ceiling? She said, yeah. I was like, well, do you see one or do you see a lot? She said, there. It was awesome. It was awesome. It's my little angel. I'm not perfect. I'll say that 1,000,001 times to the point you get sick of it. I'm not perfect. But she knows I love her. She knows I'm there for her. And she knows that there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do for her. Every child should know that and have that. So anyways, that's my word of the day. Deuces.